I know you're pissed, but I just wanted you to know that I am really proud of you.
Thank you.
Let me give you a kiss.
No, I'm not. I'm always like this.
That was so orchestrated.
You're Try to find
somebody who can speak English first. Way, that's something that I have gotten for granted. There's a lot of people that are
taken for granted.
Taken.
So, in case you were wondering, we are in a graveyard, but it's not like a sad, creepy one. It's like a really nice, pretty one.
What, 6 months? 4 months since you started learning Russian?
No, technically I started right on March 15th, like when we went into lockdown.
Yes.
It's about August 15th, so it's been 4 months. It's 5 months?
5 months.
5 months. June, we took that trip to Pittsburgh. So that June was kind of a wash. So we took the trip to Pittsburgh in June and we had a lot of work to do. So that was around the time that I was feeling a little bit like discouraged because of the whole not having structure thing with the Pimsleur and stuff. I just felt like I was getting nowhere with what I was doing. So when we got back, I started looking for new ways to get like inspired again or to feel like I was moving forward, because at that point I felt like nothing was really sticking in my head. I wanted to try something else. So I got on the italki app.
What's the italki?
So italki is an app that hooks you up with native speakers that teach the language of your choice.
I was actually wondering how are the things with Tatiana, because what I did, I introduced Eva to one of my classmates from the college, the girl who wanted to learn some English. Turned out that girl already spoke English. Eva didn't speak much Russian, so it sort of ended up one-sided affair kind
and
of
you
thing,
know, that's
what?
kind of like a common theme with other apps that I tried before italki. There was another one called Speaky. It hooks you up with other native speakers that want to learn your language. So you can find people on there like, oh, I want to learn Russian, somebody wants to learn English, and it will hook you up through that way. But the problem with that is that there's just a lot of like creepers on there and like guys that like message you.
Oh, you got lots of dick pics?
This is like Mother Russia because it's uncircumcised.
Like guys that obviously like they don't really care.
It.
So I did find some people on there that were serious. Larissa is one person I found, a little 80-something-year-old woman. So I did have a conversation with her and she sent me some really good PDF files. And then I also found another guy named Boris who actually teaches Russian to some people in this community that speak like another language near Georgia, I guess, like the country. So he has some really good like learning material as well. And he also wanted to learn English. Like with Tatiana, the problem is that it was a language trade, but because our levels are so different, like Tatiana, what she really needed was just somebody to talk to her because she already had a very good base of the language. Yeah. With Tatiana, I felt like, you know, our levels were just, there was such a disparity between our levels. We were moving so fast through her lessons. All she needed to do is pick a subject and let's free talk about it because she just needed to hear my grammar and hear how I'm pronouncing things. And I felt like it takes a lot out of her to like teach me like a little baby, you know? That's like very, very hard to like build somebody's vocabulary.
Je m'appelle Claude.
Je te flou flee.
Huh. It's not quite what I'm saying.
Really? Sounds exactly the same to me.
I already got 3.
And it's so boring for her. It's so boring. I'm actually better off, even though it's very uncomfortable, having a language trade with someone like Boris, whose English is very, very low, because we're both learning the same things. Does that make sense?
It does.
So we can use translators and stuff like that, but the language lessons also themselves move slower because they have to, because we have to take time to translate things. So I don't feel like he's just telling me so much information. Yeah, and I can't really, it's that struggle of trying to understand somebody that actually helps give you time to put things in your head. Yeah, as far as language trades go, I would recommend them.
I'm gonna elaborate on that. So you want equal trade, okay? When you can, it's like any kind of relationship. When you give something, you want to get something back. And it should be right about the same amount. If you give way more than the other person gives you, that's not gonna work out. So that's my metaphor for a language trait.
Yeah. There's obviously that initial like, oh, I'm so excited and like this is gonna be awesome and like that inspiration, but inspiration, it always goes away eventually, and then you're just left with like the discipline of having to actually keep doing it every single day. And that can be really hard when you're not seeing any progress, or seemingly you're not seeing any progress. A lot of you were really kind in the comments of my last video. People were saying things like, you feel like you're not learning anything, but it's not true. Like your subconscious is picking up so much more than you can even know. You just have to keep going. And I think that that could be the case.
I personally know lots of people that have never gone over the hump. I know so many people that could never bring the level of English high enough because they have master's degrees, they're professors, they're doctors. They were somebody else somewhere else. So now for them, acknowledge the fact that they appear very stupid when they speak English. And I'm just saying it the way it is. You appear stupid. That's normal. But not a lot of people can get over this hump. And I think this is one of the things that actually affect you.
So the hardest part about learning language is probably not the actual learning of it, because I think that all human brains are like designed to learn language and to pick it up fairly easily. The problem is finding the right way and understanding that you're going to be in this limbo where you're just not going to be making any progress because you can't see the progress, but it's happening subconsciously maybe. When you aren't in a total immersion environment like you were with learning English, it's just way too easy to kind of cop out. I prefer, instead of having Oleg teach me, it's just too close, to go with language traits. You don't know that person, so there's a level of propriety. You're not gonna be like impatient with them or rude. You're gonna take your time to just explain things, and you're gonna do the same thing with you. It would actually be harder for Oleg to go out of his way to teach me Russian than it would be for me to learn it. Because if I was in a situation where Oleg was trying to teach me, it would be on him to constantly be banging into my head certain things that I would need to know. And it would just be up to me to listen, because that's what comprehensible input, which we talked about the last video, that's what that's all about. That's basically putting it on somebody else to put the knowledge in your head. You just got to sit and listen and try to just take it in. That's easy. That's why I got with Christina, because I pay her to put a system together for me, and she's very patient with me, and she has a structure, and she listens and all this good stuff. With working with Christina, she's just really great because I'm working with her right now twice a week for an hour, and she's very concise. I get on the Skype with her. She has a detailed lessons, a syllabus. This is just how I prefer to learn, I found, is through structured lessons, and then implementing fun things around that kind of keep me interested, or just help reinforce, you know, good pronunciation, proper pronunciation. I mean, obviously I'm listening to him talk all the time, but also working with other people via like tutoring. They help me with preparing for my lessons with Christina, doing things like what we did this week, which we just finished kind of a mini series, I think it was. We found on Netflix called Sparta.
Невкусно, картошка невкусная. Это.
By the end of it, he was way more into it than I was, but it is a Russian TV show. I would really recommend sticking with drama, because they talk slower, like a lot slower, which you'll notice when you're trying to pick words out.
My experience of learning English is obviously slightly different than your experience of learning Russian, because I've been learning English since I was 10 years old. All I knew as a result of it was how to say London is the capital of Great Britain, and how to say cat in English, dog.
Я путешествую по реке.
I am traveling down the river. I'm traveling down the river.
When I got to the US and when I decided to immerse myself in a language learning, one of the things that was way easier for me than it is for you is the fact that I'm not afraid to come across stupid. Up until the time I met you, up until the time I got in real estate, I had a choice to either stay within the Russian community or immerse myself in English. I did make a choice to immerse myself, because I see you being very academical. You're asking me all of those questions, so you keep asking me those academical questions, and I keep telling you that
he doesn't know Russian grammar. He's like, I don't know. I was like, what's the dative? What's the what's the accusative? And he's just like, what is that?
Different, because I don't know how those sedatives, or what did you say? That you're learning.
That's a drug.
All of that stuff.
Conjugation.
Congregation. Like, I don't know what the congregation is.
Everybody's different in their language learning process, and the beginning parts of language learning, it's really important to figure out what works for you. I like graphs. I like systems. I like charts. I like more formal learning environments. It's what helps me feel like inspired and like I'm actually doing something. You need to figure out something that works for you, and it's going to be very different for everyone. Maybe you like to do what Oleg does and just put yourself in there, find somebody that you want to talk with and just talk with them all day. Maybe that works for you. Maybe you want to get yourself a teacher and have kind of study sessions, and then, you know, supplement with more of that stuff that, you know, he's talking about, which is essentially how I like to do things.
Whatever keeps you in a game.
At this point, I just need enough vocabulary to even start a conversation. So with Christina, she obviously, with each lesson, there's vocabulary that comes with it. I have a lot of mental energy, and I tend to kind of flit around a lot. Like, it's hard for me to like focus and grab things.
She has a structure.
So she has a structure.
And
with that structure is a grammar lesson, but there's also vocabulary that comes with that grammar lesson. So not only am I understanding the structure of the language, I'm also getting, by default, a vocabulary list. And I try to be like, all right, I'm really going to try to learn these words because I know they're going to come up again in the next lessons. And I don't want to look like I'm not trying or like an idiot when in the next lesson she's like, don't you know what this means?
Пиздец.
Пиздец?
Пиздец.
If any of you guys are in a language learning process and you're in the beginning phases, it might take a really long time. Russian is supposed to take, it's a level 4 language, 1,200 hours of study. And that's not just regular study. We're talking about 1,200 hours of good study. So we're talking about a year and a few months, maybe, if you're doing it 3 hours every day.
Пиздец нахуй, блядь.
To be able to learn Russian or a level 4 language to a point where you can have casual conversations about everyday subjects.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for being here with us. That concludes the part number 2 of Eva's learning Russian kind of journey. I guess at some point in time we would have to actually show people how you speak Russian, because that's the whole purpose of it.
Oh no, next time I'm definitely going to be doing that. The big part of what makes Russian speaking difficult is there is no rule for stress. So even if you know the alphabet and you can sound out a word, you can say a sentence and every word sounds wrong because you don't know where the stress is. So I can read.
She's doing pretty good.
I just hope that other magical things start happening in this process and things get easier.
She's pretty magical. But in the meantime, you guys, please don't forget to let us know what do you think about her progress.
I'd really appreciate if you guys would comment down below your language learning process, what you have found works best for you, because I'm really interested to hear like how everyone differs and how long it took you to figure that out too, because for some people it takes them longer to get to their goal of like being fluent in a language because there's like a bunch of time wasted where you're just trying to figure out how you should approach it or what works best for you. And once you get it, you start to see progress. But I guess that is part of like the language learning process, is actually finding what works for you to begin with. And even though that can seem like a little bit of like time wasted, like these last 5 months, like I felt like, ugh, what was I even doing? At the end of the day, it's not time wasted because I did find something that works for me. Like I'm definitely going to be staying with Christina for like the long run, I think. So
good job. Yeah. And
Christina stuck with me. Sorry, Christina, if you're watching this video, like you're gonna have to deal with me for a while. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment,
thank you guys
subscribe,
for being our therapists.
Yes, and all that good stuff. So we will see you next week when we
do something else. I don't know.
Yeah, when we do something else. It won't be a Russian
by the way,
video.
some fun stuff is coming.
Oh yeah,
you guys gonna like that.
Oleg has a really like scandalous interview that he's going to be doing. Stay cool, guys. If you're in LA, it's really hot. We're gonna go back home now because it is scorcher today. So have a good one. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.